All right, good evening, families. Welcome to tonight's masterclass. Seniors, are you ready to master the college process? We are excited to have you guys here with us on this evening. We have a lot in store for you. I promise if you stay to the end, you will grab some gems, some surprises, some extra bonuses, but you got to rock with us all the way to the end. So some housekeeping rules, just mute yourself. We will have open Q&A, so you can ask me any questions that something I might not have answered. We will have open Q&A at the very end. And so let's go ahead and jump right in. So does this sound like you as a parent, as a student, as a family? I want my child to attend college without going into debt, but I am not sure how to navigate the college admissions process. If this sounds like you, I'm going to say put a star in the chat. I like to use the whole keyboard. Can I tell y'all, we are very interactive in our master classes. I don't just talk to you. I like interaction, so I can make sure you're there with me. I'll give some bonuses sometimes throughout, like extra information, but I always like to see you got to give it up in the chat first before I usually give all those bonuses. So we are going to be very interactive because I don't want you to fall asleep on me now. All right, so let's keep going. So that is a lot of parents, and that's important. The next part is I am on information overload with parent meetings, Google, seminars, etc. If that is you, drop an exclamation point in the chat. If that sounds like you, or some fire emojis, an exclamation point, you are on information overload from everything that you are hearing, everything that you see, just not sure what's for you, what's not for you. Miss Tiffany Allen Holmes, I love you. She put 1,000 exclamation points. I know that's right. So after tonight, I am hoping that you no longer, including software developer for work, I am hoping that you are no longer on information overload, and that you have some clarity and that you have some direction for how you can move you and your student forward. Another one, I am a champion parent for my child, and I want them to attend their dream school without debt. If this is you, drop some hearts in the chat. You're a champion for your student, and you want them to be able to go to whatever school is their choice without going into debt. Absolutely. We are all parents of that. We are all champions for our children. Here at Suited for Success, we support champion parents like you because I was one. I currently have a senior in college, and I wanted my daughter to go to school without going into debt, and she has done just that. And I will definitely tell you more about her as I go through and talk more. So who is Regina Robinson, and why is she an expert for sharing with you? And so if this is your first time on one of my master classes, welcome. You're in great hands. If you're a returning family, you already know you're in great hands. And so I am America's #1 college admissions advocate. I have been helping students like yourself and families like yourself successfully win the game of college admissions for over 15 years. We have helped students gain over $25 million in scholarships and grants. I am a former college graduate of Bowie State University. Go Bulldogs. So if we got some Bulldogs in the house, go Bulldogs. I am also a graduate of Georgetown University. Go Hoyers. So if we have some Hoyers, welcome as well. And so again, these are all accolades. If you want to know more about my bio and you want to know more about me, don't hesitate to go and visit our website, which I'm sure some of you have already done. So let's talk about navigating the college admissions process. There are 6 key areas that you can navigate through that we're going to discuss tonight. Finalizing your college list. Why? Because you're a senior about to graduate. And if you're a underclassman tuning in family, then all of these nuggets will be supportive to you for you knowing what to do ahead of time so you're not behind the 8 ball. So finalizing your college list. How many schools should you actually have on your list? I know a lot of families and students are wondering that. And so let me just give you an overview. You can only put 20 schools in the FAFSA, and that's due to recent changes. You can only go to one in the end. So looking at approximately 5 students that go through our program do 5 to 7 schools. Some wants to max and do 10, some max and do 15. What I remind parents is that you have to pay for an application fee for the majority of these schools, which add up with all the other expenses that you're going to have coming down the pipeline. So again, students can only go to one school in the end. So it's important that they start finalizing their list so they can start applying for their schools before the last minute, right? So they want to make sure they start getting their applications already in the works, getting them prepared and ready to turn them in. Number 2, in order to submit that application, you must have a standout college essay. Now, your college essay is not like, I repeat, not like your high school English papers. Your college essay is a story that you're going to tell about yourself that the college admissions counselors cannot read in your application. So they can read that you're a star football player. They can read that you are a SGA president. They could read that you are a honor roll student. They can read all of that. That's not what they're looking for in your college essay. They're looking for you to share a story that tells them about more about you that they can't read from your college application. So when you're crafting your essay, make sure you are crafting a unique story. I always tell students, start with a bang, end with fireworks. Start with a bang, end with fireworks. Or you can swap it, start with fireworks, end with a bang, whichever way you want to do it, and make sure the sauce in the middle is all together coming and bridging for those fireworks and those bangs, okay? So it's still the same format, but you must make sure it's telling a compelling story from start to finish. And so here's what I'll know. I always tell students, if you don't have someone else to review your essay, if you can't get your English teacher at school, your counselor, or anyone else, please allow your parents to be a second eye. But parents, if you're going to be a second eye, don't be a critical eye. Be a encouraging eye. Don't be a forceful eye where you are trying to force your students to write the way you want them to write. Allow them to use their own unique voice so that they can be heard, okay? So please, parents, allow your students to utilize their own unique voice. Number 3, students, you must complete the Common App. Most schools are now Common App schools, Coalition App schools, or HBCU Common App. And I'll jump into that and break those down more later. But you want to start working and building up your Common App. There are 2 sides to the Common App, so you don't want to waste time. You want to make sure you have everything in, because you need to find out if your school is a contributing school under Naviance, or if your school is a school that is straight directly connected, and then your recommendation request can go directly to your teachers and your counselors without connecting to the Common App. So that is something that's key, so that your counselors and your teachers can get the information ahead of time and not at the last minute, so that they can meet your deadlines. Number 4, recommendations and transcripts. Your guidance counselor and your teachers need advance notice. Please do not wait till the last minute. And then as parents and students, you're going around saying, we can't never get these counselors to do what they need to do, and they're last minute. No, you're last minute. You cannot ask them a week before your deadline and expect them to make miracles when 100 or 20 or 30 other students ask before you on time. Some schools have over 350 students to one guidance counselor. And even if your school only has 30 or 40 students, if 28 other students out of those 40 asked on time, then the counselor is preparing theirs. They're not going to drop theirs to do yours because yours is due 1 week from the day you actually ask. You should be giving your counselors and your teachers at least 3 to 4 weeks in advance for them to complete your recommendation and provide your transcripts. So please don't wait till the last minute. Now, remember, you must, here's a bonus, you must have your guidance counselor write a recommendation. That's not optional. Number 4, choose test scores or test optional. Are you going to submit your scores or are you going to decide to go test optional? The national average for the SAT is 550 plus per section. The national average for the ACT composite is 23 plus. Now, I said average. I'm not saying those scores are going to land you money. Your scores will land you money when it's aligned to the school scores that they are requiring. That's just a national average. Now, how do you know if you should put your scores in a go test optional? Let's give an example. Let's say you're looking at a school and their scores are, let's just use the SAT. Their scores are 650 in math, 650 in reading. You have 500 in math, 500 in reading. The school is test optional. Do you go in test optional or do you go in and submit your scores? Which one? So number 1, if you go test optional. Number 2, if you submit your scores. Put your answer in the chat and let's see what you think. 1 is test optional. 2 is submit your scores. So let's see what everyone's going to put in. Okay, some people say 1. We have one person that says 1. Anybody else? Okay, 1, 1, 1, 1. Test optional. Okay. Okay. Now, remember I said that I am always in the business of giving out extra information. Now, this is usually VIP information, okay, that I only give to my clients that are privy in my VIP program. But tonight I'm going to drop the golden gem if I get enough hearts in the chat. Okay, so there is 28, 27, including myself on here, 28, including me. So it's 27 of you. If I get at least 10 hearts, then I will share this bonus information. So I got 1, 2, 3. Somebody said I'm gonna give you all the hearts on there. It was all the hearts. That's funny. Okay, so I'm getting some hearts. All right. So listen to this closely because this is where most families go wrong in deciding whether they should submit scores or not submit scores. And this is your golden ticket to getting colleges to pay you and you not to pay for college. Test optional comes in 2 forms. There is what we call test optional with penalty and test optional without penalty. So the scenario that I just gave, I said, should you submit your scores or should you not? Everyone said 1 test optional. That is if the school is test optional without penalty, then yes, you go test optional. If they are test optional with penalty, you submit those scores and pray they might, say, okay, they're close enough. Their GPA, their extracurriculars, their community service, their involvement in their community outweighs the fact that their scores might not be as close as we would like. And we're going to still accept them and give them some money, not a lot, but some. Whereas if you go test optional with penalty, you disqualify for possibly any money or you don't get the full amount of money. So test optional with penalty means you qualify for all merit aid. Test optional without penalty. Test optional with penalty means you do not qualify for all full aid, for merit aid. That means they either give you half or not any. Test optional without penalty means you can get all of your merit aid if you qualify and meet the requirements. So be careful on which one you choose and what option you take on. All right, number 6, navigate scholarships, and financial aid. That's backwards. So navigate scholarships and financial aid. So what you need to do is make sure that you are not just banking off of getting all the money, but that you are making sure you have done scholarships for private, for your churches, for banks, for fraternities and sororities, that you are going after as much scholarship money as possible. And then you are making sure you complete your FAFSA. And so I know parents say all the time, and if you haven't registered for our FAFSA Masterclass on this Thursday at 7 p.m., you definitely want to do that. And so FAFSA is important because I know a lot of times families say, I don't want to do the FAFSA because I'm not sure if I will get all of my money, or I don't think I qualify and I don't want to have them in my business. Well, they know all your business anyway. What will happen is if you do not complete the FAFSA and your child qualifies for aid or any type of grants or funding that's come from endowments, and you don't have a FAFSA, you automatically eliminate them from being in the runnings for any of that information or any of that money. So please make sure you complete the FAFSA, okay? And so the government already knows all of your business. Nothing's a secret. And so the FAFSA only asks for what it asks for. Anything outside of that, they cannot find out. So you only are putting in what they ask you for. And what they ask you for isn't already a secret. It's already in government databases, right? So if you want to get the money, you would complete the FAFSA. Now, if you are gun-ho on keeping your business to yourself, then you can withdraw from doing the FAFSA, but you must have a lot of money in the bank that you have to educate your child and to pay full tuition if they don't get any scholarships or grants. So please keep that in mind. All right. Finalizing your college list. And why is it important? To ensure your college list is balanced, you need to make sure, parents, please talk to your students, and students, please be mindful of this. You want to make sure your list has target, it has likely, and it has reach schools. Do not create a list of schools that are all reach and all target. You need likely, you need target, and you need reach schools. Likely means, okay, I got everything they're asking for. Target means I have maybe the test scores. I'm close, but I'm not quite there, but I have the GPA. Or I have the test scores, my GPA just a little bit low. And then reach means, okay, I'm just dreaming. Like I know they probably gonna be like, oh, child, you don't have it all together. But guess what? Miracles happen, right? So I always tell my students, I'm not a dream killer, but I'm a reality checker. That's why we can say which ones are reach, say which ones are target, and then we have an alignment of likely schools. So it's important for you to create your balanced list. Finalizing your college list, here are key considerations. Location, how far do you want to go? Or how close do you want to stay, and talk and have the conversation as a family so that you can put these things together. The size, are you looking for a small, medium, or large college or university? That's key, that's important. And then the academic program, does your major rank in the top 3 majors of that school? And how do you know? You go on that website, you do your due diligence, you call, you ask, they will tell you. Also, the campus culture. Are you looking for sororities, fraternities, HBCU, which is historically Black college and university, or are you looking for a PWI, predominantly white institution, or are you looking for a mixture? All of those things are key considerations. And then again, your financial aid options. Are they merit aid friendly? Are they financial aid friendly? Are they scholarship friendly? You want to know all of those things. You can use tools like College Navigator or the Common App search function to narrow down your options. Visiting colleges is also a key area that you want to focus on. We happen to have our upcoming college tours for the fall, and then we'll have one in the spring break as well. But we have 2 tours going out this fall. We're going to Maryland and Delaware, to Morgan State and Delaware State. And then we have a North Carolina tour to North Carolina A&T State University and North Carolina Central University. We literally have 20 seats left on the bus already. So that particular tour, the North Carolina tour, sells out every year, and it doesn't take long to sell out. So if your student is interested in North Carolina A&T or North Carolina Central, check out our website and grab them a spot. Crafting a standout college essay. Let's get a little bit more deep. The essay is your chance to show, like I said, who you are beyond your grades and your test scores, which is why I said, don't go saying, oh, I'm an AP student, I'm an IB student, I'm an honor roll student. They can tell by your transcript. Oh, I scored 700 on the SAT reading and 650 on the SAT writing, math. They can see that. So you don't need to tell them that in your college essay, but you need to tell them a compelling story. So I know a lot of times parents get on these masterclass lives and not necessarily students. So if we have time, this isn't a promise, but this is a bonus. If we have a little bit time at the end, I will say, well, I'm going to do it now because then we can already have that person lined up because they can already be working. So if there is a student, you must have your student here. This is not for parents, this is for the students. So if your student isn't here and they're not present, this doesn't work for you. So if there is a student who says, and they have to be the class of 2025. So if there's a student that says, okay, Ms. Robinson, I've been really trying to figure this whole essay thing out, and I am just not sure. I am like, oh, I'm pulling all my hair out. I'm going crazy. I just don't know. Here's what I'm going to say. Usually I do this and I don't always do this, but tonight I'm going to do this because I'm feeling like I'm in the mood to do this. If we have time, the first, I know y'all gonna start putting it before I say it, okay? The first student to put in what I'm going to say in a minute into the comments, a symbol, and I'm going to tell you the symbol after I tell you the direction. You have to have an idea of what you want to write your essay about. You have to be able to give me background about that topic and what it is that you want to write. And I'm going to tell you at the end how to craft your introduction. So right here live on this masterclass, I will do that for you. So now, first family to put in, trying to come up with a symbol because we use so many other symbols. I don't want to mix up the symbols. So I'm trying to figure out a symbol. Let's see. First family to put, we haven't used this in a while, a fire emoji that has a class of 2025 and their student is present. A fire emoji, you'll be the student I choose. Okay. The Carter family already put it in. The Holmes family was behind them. So if the Carter family drops off before I get to this point and the Holmes family is still live, then I will go to the Holmes family. So keep that in mind. Jama, if you can write those names down for me, the Carter and then Holmes. So that way I know who's first, who's second, in case they jump off, one or the other jumps off before I get to that part. All right, so we're moving on. Crafting the standout college essays. Here's tips for success. Be authentic. Tell a story that only you can tell. Focus on a specific moment or theme rather than trying to cover too much. Avoid cliches and overly formal language. Common mistakes to avoid: generic statements, repeating your resume, or submitting a first draft. I always tell my students, and this is where my students love me in my program throughout the process, but when we get to essay time, I'm not their best of best friends because I will keep giving them back their essay until it is perfection. Why? They would rather me do it than get a no on an acceptance letter because they wrote a horrible essay. Because if a college is an essay-driven school, meaning most of their assignments is writing at their school and not test, and you can't write a college essay, 9 times out of 10, you might not be their first choice pick. So we want to make sure you have a stellar standout college essay. So here are some keys to make that happen. Here are some different formats for your college applications. 3 different ways to apply for schools. They are common application, which we just talked about. Coalition application. You will know on the website of the schools you are considering if they're a common app or coalition app. And then you have the HBCU common application, which allows students to apply for like 30 or 40 schools for one price. The common application, you apply for multiple schools as well, and you pay for each application. It is not one price. The coalition app, same way. You can apply for a couple of schools on the coalition app, and it's a fee for each of the schools you apply to. So the only one where there's one fee is an HBCU Common App, okay? Make sure you are accurate, concise, and ensure your extracurriculars are highlighted and your leadership skills are pointed out and they stand out on each of your applications, no matter which portal you use. Now, securing recommendations and transcripts. Choosing recommenders. Ask teachers who know you well and can speak to your strengths. Now, how do you ask? Why are you choosing them? Make sure you express that. What aspects of your character you want them to highlight. Make sure you give them that in a resume or a paragraph summary about you. And then request early, as we talked about. Make sure they have a summary of what you do. Remember, as a former teacher, students would ask me to write recommendations. We only know about you what you do in our class. So you have to give us supporting materials so that we can write the best recommendation letter for you. And here's the deal. Don't ask the teacher that you know you be cutting up in their class and you sleeping, you don't do your work, you're talking back. Please don't ask them for a recommendation because recommendations are sealed. So you don't know what they're writing. So if you would come to a teacher that you know you're not doing well in their class, then you shouldn't have expected them to say anything amazing because you know you're not doing anything amazing in their class. So please be mindful of who you ask. Choosing test scores or test optional. National average, I told you the average already. Understanding test optional, I told you know when it's beneficial to submit scores and when it's not. And if your scores are above the school's average, it can definitely strengthen your application. Focus on other strengths like your essays, your grades, your extracurriculars. If you choose not to submit scores, make sure those areas stand out tremendously, okay? Next, I want to tell you about one of our former Shining Stars who is now an HU, Howard University student. So if we got any Bisons, I think they're Bisons on here, then you know.
HU?
Yep, you know, that's what they say. So if we have any Howard University other parents, yes. And so Audrey is now a freshman at Howard University. Audrey is one of our former Shining Stars who went through our VIP College Bound program. And Audrey got into all of his schools and earned over $280,000 in scholarships and grants. He said, congratulations to all the Shining Stars. Hard work and dedication pays off. This is his mom. Shout out to the amazing parents and to you, Miss Regina, for all your help. Lord knows I needed all of it. And so here are some of the schools he applied to, as you can see on his flyer. And so we are so proud of him. He is doing amazing already. Here's the deal. When you go to college, you don't just go there just to go there. You go there to thrive. I think I just unshared my screen. I apologize. You don't just go there to go there. You go there to thrive and to make sure that you are getting everything that you need from that school. So I'm not sure why technology is acting that way. Okay. And then make sure you are getting everything from the school that you are attending. Here in Navigating Scholarships and Financial Aid, here are the 4 different forms of aid that comes from your completion of the FAFSA. Scholarships, grants. Scholarships and grants are both free money. And then you have loans. I'm not sure why. I apologize, guys, but my computer is definitely not trying to be friendly at all. Keeps wanting to take off the shared screen. So give me 1 second to figure out why that is. I have no idea. It usually doesn't do this, but it is definitely doing it tonight. Let's see. I don't want you not to be able to see the PowerPoint because that's important.
We can still see the screen.
Oh, you can still see the PowerPoint?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So I just can't see it then. So that's not helping me. For some reason I can't. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing and start again. Okay, here we go. Not sure why it doesn't want me to see the PowerPoint, but we don't usually have this problem, but for some reason tonight, it is not wanting me to show you guys the PowerPoint. Okay, here we go back. All right, great. So now can you still see it, Ms. Gresham? If you guys can still see the PowerPoint, can someone say yes or no?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
great. Thank you so much. All right, and so loans. Remember, loans are not free money. You must pay the money back. And so I always tell parents, please borrow only what you need, not a penny more, because you have to pay those loans back. And most people will say loans are a bad thing. Sometimes you need loans to fund your student's education. So it's not a bad thing. But remember to only borrow what you need. Work study is also money that your student is allotted. You must talk to your school in the beginning if your student is assigned work study to find out if the work study is automatically accounted to your account or if it's given to your student and your student have to reallocate it back to their account. A lot of families, because schools do this and they don't check, at the end you have a bill that's a balance and it equals the amount of your work study. Because your student was getting the work study checks and they were spending them, they didn't know. And so it just comes from not knowing. So again, remember that and keep that in mind if your student has work study. Here are areas for navigating scholarships and financial aid. And so you want to make sure you are looking at different financial aid resources for scholarships. You have FAFSA, you have scholarships.com, got CSS Profile, which is another form, financial aid form that some schools require you to complete. You have FastWeb, that's a scholarship database, Niche, where you can find scholarships. And we also have a scholarship membership as well, where it's literally, we send you an email with scholarships every single month. All you have to do is click on them and apply, but you must click on them and actually apply to win. My goal is to tell every parent, every student, apply to as many scholarships as possible. Every award adds up. For most students, the difference between them going to their number one choice school and sometimes their second or third choice is the fact that they did not do any scholarships. So please make sure you apply to as many scholarships as possible. Imagine for a moment what life would be like if you could navigate the college admissions process with confidence, identify the schools and programs that are the right fit based on your students' needs and goals, stay ahead of the process so you don't miss important deadlines, manage all your applications so you know where you are in the process at all times, find grants, scholarships, and programs that will enable your child to attend the college of their dreams without going into debt. Imagine that. Would that be valuable to you? I would say put a yes. Okay, so I can actually see the chat box now. If you answer that that would be valuable to you, put a, oh, someone already gave us the emoji, the heart emoji face. Miss Holmes already gave us the emoji to put the heart emoji face in the chat if that would be valuable to you. If that would help you and support your family to get from moving from overwhelmed, from frustrated to not sure of which way to turn, which way not to, would that be of support to you? If so, you don't have to guess anymore. So here's one of our shining stars, another one, Evan Crawley, who is now at Morgan State University. If we have any bears, let us hear you say something if you're a bear. I believe that's Morgan's Bears. Words cannot even express my sincere gratitude for me, for her support, and for holding our scholars accountable. Suited for Success is a true gem indeed. Evan is now at Morgan State University. Evan was accepted to all of the schools you see listed here. He had over $220,000 in scholarships and grants, and he is now doing very well. In fact, he is a part of our college transition mentor program for college students. And Evan is already currently in this first semester looking in his portal daily. I said, yes, I taught you well. Looking in his portal daily with all A's. He goes, Mr. Robinson, I got all A's in all my classes so far. And so I'm excited because every student does not get that opportunity to go straight to college and score all A's right off the bat. So that is important and that is key. So kudos to Evan. Well, now you don't have to imagine if all those things could be possible for your family. They are possible through our VIP College Bound program, which we support you in experiencing all of that and so much more for our students. We make sure that you have everything you need to be able to successfully navigate through the college admissions process. We walk you through it, we support you through it, and we make sure we hold your hand. So here are different things we do in our cohort for our students. You have an online database that houses all of your information. All of the colleges in the United States that your student is considering is right there in that database. I saw some families say, well, how do we know whether we should do test optional or the scores, or how will we know what scores they want or whether we should use test optional? It's in our online database. It tells you. We go through that. We eliminate which ones we go for scores, which ones we don't go for scores, so we know which ones are going to give us the most amount of merit aid for each student. Our cohort meets on Zoom sessions in a small group. We also do the family consultation when you first come on board. We review your students' academic profile so we know exactly where they are, so we know whether they're going in test optional, whether they're submitting scores, what schools they should look at, what schools they should not look at. We help them with their list to identify whether they're likely target or reach and make sure they have a well-balanced list. We also help them with their academic resume that goes not only to their counselor and their teacher, but also goes uploaded into their college applications. We work with the counselors on their recommendation request template. We also work with the students and review every application and scholarships prior to them submitting. We work with them from beginning to end on their essay. We do not write their essay, but we do give them feedback, suggestions, and critiques. We also talk to them about whether they're a great SAT test taker or ACT, help them eliminate, make sure they have all their testing prior to completion. And then we work with families to complete the FAFSA. When it's open, we also work with them to complete it so that they don't make any errors. Now, what is the investment for this program? Most families say they get the investment back in one college acceptance letter, 2 to 3 times the amount that they made in the investment for our program. As you can see with Evan and Audrey's financial scholarship amount that they earn. So total student scholarships and grants, here's a record of our earnings from students over the last 4 years. So we had 9 students in 2021, you see their amount. We had 15 students in 2022. It fluctuates in how many students I take each year. And there's their amount. We had 8 students, their amount. In 2024, we had 6 students. Here's the amount that they earn. Always over, as you see, $1 million in all of them from all grade levels. The total number of students plus the schools they were accepted to, meaning how many schools they applied. We add up all the students we had and how many schools they applied. Remember, we do 5 to 7 with them in our program. Some of them do above that number, and so it gets added in as well. So you can see the students are getting into their schools. 97% of our students get into their top 3 choice schools. 100% of our students matriculate off to college because some will start at community college if 4-year schools is not suitable for them at the time. Our VIP College Bound program supports you in finding the right fit school and securing the money. For our VIP College Bound program, this is what you would see if you went to our website right now. For class of 2025, $6,500 is the investment, 2026, $7,000. But for you tonight, it is not that investment because you showed up on the masterclass. Now, if you're watching this on a replay, this does not apply to you. So for tonight only, you can enroll your student in our program for 2025, $6,000. For 2026, $6,500. Now, that amount is still not your amount, because I decided this before I jumped on tonight's masterclass at the last minute. So my team is going to kill me because they're going to be like, we didn't even prepare and plan for that. And you're just changing the rules, right? So for class of 2025, if you're on the masterclass live tonight, but you have to email me tonight, you will go down to $5,500. So that is literally a $1,000 investment scholarship to you. It will go down to $5,500. If you're a class of 2026 family, yours will go down to $6,000. You would have to email me tonight, and my assistant will drop my email in the thread, and we will send you a special code for you to be able to register your student if you are interested in signing them up for our VIP College Bound program. So you would have to, again, email us, and the email address is in the chat thread. Tell us what grade level you are in, whether you're 2025, 2026, and tell us you want a spot for your student in our VIP College Bound program, and we will honor that discount for you. Now, if you decide to think about it overnight and then tomorrow you wake up and you say, oh my God, you know what? I don't even know why I didn't jump the gun, because I am still going to be at the same place next month as I am right now because I really am overwhelmed and I'm just trying to wing it and do it myself. It will be at the price you see here on the screen, $6,000, $6,500. You would still have to message us though, so we can get you this code so that the code can work for you when you try and register. Again, our parents will tell you, and you can go to our website, they earn back their investment 3 times this amount in one acceptance letter. Why? Because we make sure we align our students to schools that they can get merit aid from so that they can get school to pay them and not them to have to pay for school. And you'll say, what's our track record for that? You saw the 2 flyers of Audrey and Evan. But let me give you the real testimonial from my own household. My daughter is now currently a senior in college. She attended in her freshman, sophomore, and junior year, McDaniel College here in Westminster, Maryland, which is a $60,000 a year school. She paid absolutely nothing for those 3 years, and we got a refund check every semester. My daughter now attends my alumni, Bowie State University, where she will be graduating from this May, and we still do not pay any money for college, and we still get a refund check every semester. It is doable, but you have to position yourself to secure the bag. We also offer for seniors only, class of 2025 only, our a la carte services. You can see them here. So you might say the VIP college program, I don't quite need everything, but I just need essay coaching. You can get a 5-hour block or you can get a 10-hour block. Oh, I just need you to look at my list and audit it and tell me whether it's likely, target, reach, balance. You can do that, maximum of 10 colleges. If you want us to review your Common App before you submit to make sure it's correct and it represents the best version of you, you can do that as well. We do up to 5 schools package and then up to 10 schools packages. So you can get our a la carte services as well. And all of these are on our website. And my assistant will drop the links in the feed for you to be able to see those as well. Your feedback matters. If this has been information that you were not aware of, something new, something old, something borrowed, something blue, just joking, we're not at a wedding. But if you did get something that made you feel a little bit more confident, a little bit more clearer, we ask that if you would take a minute or two now to scan this code, and then we're going to drop the link just in case you're on this live on your phone and you can't do both. If you would scan this code and put in your survey and answer the survey questions, that would be amazing. We will then send every family that completes this survey a free gift. But we need you to complete the survey so that we can make these master classes better for you and better for other students and families. So Jama, if you would drop the link to the survey in the feed as well. And if you can just take your phone out, scan the QR code, and it will allow you to complete the survey. So while it's doing that, I am going to open the floor for any questions that you might have. First, I'm going to go back and read all the questions that were already in the feed first, and then we will open it for the other questions. So please give me a minute to go back and scroll for all of the previous questions so we can get those ironed out first. And then we will definitely open up and you can come off of mute and ask any other questions. Let me just see if there were any questions in the chat. So let's see. Okay, my oldest is interested in going no further than 2 hours away. Yeah, so you have anywhere from Virginia. If you're going south, you have Virginia. That's about as far as you're going to get for 2 hours. And then if you're going north, you have here, you have Delaware, and you have Pennsylvania. And some parts of Pennsylvania can easily be more than 2 hours as well. Someone said it's a razzle-dazzle autobiography. Yes, it really is. But it's a story, and you need to make sure it formats as a story, right? So that it doesn't take it into being necessarily just, oh, this is everything. I was born and raised in this, and I was this, and I was that. You don't want it to be that type of autobiography, but you want it to be a story that talks about something that highlights who you are. Okay, so that was that comment. I got that one. Do all schools specify test optional scores with test optional scores with or without penalty? No, you would have to call them and ask. Yeah, so they're not going to just put it on their website. So if your score is below the school's average and they are without penalty, then you submit. Yes. So if your score is below the school's average and they are without penalty, you submit. You go as test optional. If your scores are below the average and they are a school without penalty for test optional, you go in as test optional, okay? Hopefully Courtney Ben that gave you the clarity on that. How do they know my business? The government knows everybody's business. I have a student who has Okay, so for students who maybe didn't do very well in your freshman year, sophomore year, and you rebounded in your 11th and 12th grade year, there is still opportunities. Can I just share a testimony about two students I had? I told you I frequent Grace Brethren High School often, yearly for the last maybe 6 or 7 years now. I met two young men there, a couple of other students too, not just the two young men, but two young men. They joined my VIP program with their families, and they both had ninth and 10th grade, didn't do so well. I showed up to their school for an 11th grade meeting. This was before Miss Gresham was the counselor there. And I'm in the meeting and I'm talking and I look around and I said, there's nothing in this room but parents. That's unacceptable. Go out in the hall and get your students and get them in here. And I want them all sitting on the first two rows. So they all come in and they sit down, because all too often the parents are up close and personal. But this isn't your process. This is your child's process, and they need to be tuned in because they need to get crystal clear about what it's going to take for them to be successful. So they all come in the session and now they're in and they're tuned in. At the end of this meeting, these two young men run up to me and they're like, Miss Robinson, I have to be honest with you. First of all, thank you for making us come in the room. No one has ever done that. And so secondly, I didn't do well in ninth and 10th grade. So I don't even know if college is possible. Can I tell you, both of those students went on to be very successful. One graduated from Temple University and is doing very well, acting in Broadway plays and doing all kinds of big things. The other one went on to go to Norfolk State University, did very well, and now is in a master's program, also doing a paid internship that's going to allow him to go back and pay for that master's program. I always tell students, and so I tell each and every one of you who are ninth and 10th grade and didn't do so very well, and now you're in 11th and 12th grade and you're like, okay, can I still rebound? It's not how you start, but it is most importantly how you finish. So finish strong and you can see the results and you can make the changes. So that's for all my students who are seniors who maybe didn't do so well ninth and 10th grade. Now you did, you bounce back 11th and 12th grade. Make sure you showcase that so that the schools can honor that. What if they aren't good writers? We are all good writers. We tell ourselves we're not good writers. And so with the support of someone, they can be a great writer, or they can pull out what it is that they need to be a good writer. They changed the HBCU Common App now to be called Common Black College App. So you can find that on, if you Google it. Someone said they have a homeschool student. Yes, homeschool students are just like regular students. They get to apply just like the regular students get to apply. Someone said, is the $5,500 all upfront? You have the option of paying all upfront, or you can pay 5 payments. So you have the option of paying in full, and that's for both grade levels. You can pay in full, or you can pay, if you're a class of 2025, you can pay 5 payments. If you're a class of 2026, you can pay 10 payments. So I can hear the class of 2025 parents say, well, how do they get so much time? Because they still only in the 11th grade. They have time. And so they can span their payments out a little longer. Your student and me will be finished by November 15th. And I know you're saying, Ms. Robinson, but today is almost October 1st. Your child will be done with everything by November 15th. We don't go past that date. Why? When you get in early, when you get everything in early, you know early. And my ultimate goal is for all of my students to know early so they can qualify for the most money. All right, so come off mute if you have another question that I did not answer, and hopefully everyone is taking time to complete the survey. Remember, you'll get a free gift if you complete the survey. So any parents who have questions, please come off mute, ask your questions. Now is the time. No question is a dumb question. I always say it's only dumb if you don't ask the question. So please open up, ask your questions. I'm here to answer and give you what you need.
Hello, you mentioned test optional with penalty or test optional without penalty. How do you know if a school is with penalty or without? Is it listed somewhere in the Common App?
No, so remember I said you have to call the school. You would have to call the school's admissions office and ask, are you test optional with penalty or test optional without penalty? And they will tell you yes or no. And then you take that to your advantage and then you make the decision. Someone is saying, where's the survey? It's this code that's on the screen now. and it's also in the feed. So if you click the feed, it says code seniors is the code for the link that's in the feed. But if you scan this QR code that's now on the screen, you can do this survey. So it says your feedback matters. This is actually the survey code. Once you hover over this icon, it will take you directly to the actual QR code to take you to the survey. I'm sorry. Do you have information on students who get athletic scholarships? Should they apply regular applications? Students who are under athletics, you need to be talking to the coaches who are recruiting you. The coaches who are recruiting you to come and play at that school should be advising you on exactly how to apply, because sometimes they have a time frame of when you need to get in your app in order to apply and get the aid that they can get you offered to come there and play as an athlete. So please be talking to these coaches and get clarity so that you can fill out everything the correct way. That's important and that's key, because you don't want to miss out on that money. All right, other questions, other questions. We want to make sure we get all questions answered. So are there any other questions? You can type the questions in the feed, or you can type or you can come off of mute. Please, you can easily come off of mute, or if you drop it in the feed, I'm following the feed to answer any questions that you might have. Now, at the beginning, so many people said that they were overwhelmed, they were Googled out, they were this and that, but no one's asking any questions. So I must have gave you all the answers you needed, because you're not asking questions and you said you were overwhelmed in the beginning.
You did answer a lot of questions, but I do have one more.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
How many times do you think it's realistic for a student to take like the ACT or the SAT?
So usually the going range is 3 times. So 1, 2, 3, right? And then some schools do composite. So they'll take, maybe you had a high reading on test 1 and a high math on test 3. They can combine and composite those scores. Same thing for the ACT. But usually it's 3. And then let's say so don't just hold to 3, because let's say he or she, whatever you have, a daughter or a son, goes and they're looking at a school and that school says, you're 10 points shy of us accepting you, or you're 50 points shy of us accepting you. You better go for that 4th time, okay? So that means you take it again. If that means if that's his or her favorite school and they're only 50 points shy, you go back and you take that.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Someone said, composite score for all universities, or you have to ask if they would accept a composite score as well?
Yes, you have to see if they accept composite scores. Not every school accepts composite scores.
By composite score, you mean like a super score?
Yes, composite is super score. Yep. So meaning they're going to take your first one from math in the first test you took, and then you say you want your reading in the 3rd test you took. They're going to combine those together to give your final score. So they super score, yes. Composite, I just use the word composite, but yes, super score is the correct word. You're right. Someone said, oh, go ahead.
Well, so the super score is made up of all of those 4 subsections. Your highest score of each one makes basically what your super score would be.
For the ACT, yes. Okay. And so for the SAT, remember, it's just 2 parts. So if you take if you take the SAT test time 1, number 2, number 3, and let's say test 1, you got a 750 on math. Test 2, you got a 700 on math. Test 3, you got a 700 on math. Test 1, you got a 650 on reading. Test 2, you got a 620 on reading. Test 3, you got 675 on reading. You want the reading from 3, but the math from 1. Okay. If they're super score composite school, they will take 1 and 3. If they're not, then they're only going to take what you got from each one.
Is that something you would need to call about too, or is there like a place where you would be able to know, like a common data set, or a place you could go to find that out?
So sometimes it's on some colleges' websites. All too often it's not. So you can easily call though to the admissions and ask. So remember, admissions are here for you. Please utilize them and ask all of your questions.
Okay.
Someone asked the question, is this a one and done? Not sure what that means. So Mr. Franklin, if you can just give more clarity, is this a one and done? Someone said, when is the FAFSA due? So please keep in mind the FAFSA is rolling out in 2 phases again this year, and it's only for class of 2025. October 1st, it will range out for some small select families. December 1st is when it will roll completely out. So again, if you didn't register for our FAFSA Masterclass, which will be held on this Thursday at 7 p.m., you want to go to our website and do that. And Jamie, if you can drop the link in the feed for the FAFSA Masterclass, that'll make it easy for people to just click it from here. Ms. Holmes says, still shell-shocked. Shell-shocked on the price, Ms. Holmes, on the average cost of what schools cost, or shell-shocked on what you need next, meaning what steps to take next. Because if that's the case, drop another question in the comment and let's get you out of shell-shock. Okay, that is money for freshman year only. Not sure what you mean by Mr. Franklin. That is money for freshman year only. Not sure what that means. Are the 5 payments due by November 1st? No, so it's September, October, November, December, January. So you'll be still paying me after I've done all the work with your child. Do you want to discuss waiving fees? Fee waivers. So fee waivers is only majority of the parents from the schools that you listed in the thread. You do not qualify for fee waivers. Fee waivers are only for students who receive free and reduced lunch. That is the only way you can qualify for fee waivers, unless you got to hook up with your guidance counselor and they're giving them away and not supposed to. So fee waivers are assigned to students who have free and reduced lunch. So if you're attending a private school, you should not have a fee waiver. Any other questions? I was just clearing up the questions that were in the chat thread. Any other questions or comments? Yes.
Quick question/comment. When I said one and done, this seems like there's awesome freshmen that get a lot of money with your service. Does this only apply to that first year experience and that's kind of it?
So keep in mind, when you're going off to college, if you receive merit aid your first year at your college and then you choose that college, if you maintain the GPA that's stipulated by that school and stay in good standing, that money is for all 4 years.
Got it.
But if your student drops below the requirements, then they lose that money.
That would never happen. Just kidding.
Yes, but I'm hoping that would never happen to any. But again, we got to stay on, hold our kids accountable, make sure they're going to tutoring, make sure they're going to the writing lab, using all the resources colleges have to offer them. It's important that the students take full advantage of that. That's why the schools offer it to them. Other questions? Any other questions? If you haven't had a chance already, please click the feedback survey, and we would love to have your feedback as well. And we would, Jamie, can we put any of the, I'm the one who I couldn't give you a remote. I was going to say, can we put any of the testimonials real time on the screen, but I'm the one who has control. So, okay, so still shell-shocked by intensity of the process as compared to my app days in the 80s. Yes, it is so not the 80s anymore. I would love to remove myself from it all. This has been eye-opening. My daughter's school is shepherding them through this process, but my child is stuck at the essay stage. I will be attending the FAFSA Masterclass depending on what time it's available. Thanks for great class, Ms. Robinson. You are more than welcome. If she is stuck only at the essay stage, then you might want to jump into our a la carte service for essay services to support her and get her what she needs for that process. Okay, any other questions? Any other questions? So where's my student who, I'm going to take it off the survey screen and go to our screen where you can get to all of our, Jamie, if you would just drop the link to the survey one more time in the feed so people can grab that. And this is our link for how you can connect with us. If you're not connected with us on Facebook, connect with us on Facebook. We share college bound tips on Facebook and Instagram every day. If you are on our masterclass, you are now subscribed to our newsletter. If you do not have a copy of our book, Winning the Game of College Admissions, you want to grab it. If you're wanting to do this process on your own, it will be like having me, but it's just in a book form. Also, we have our scholarship membership, which is $19.97 a month. You can scan and get more information about our VIP College Bound program and our a la carte services program, but we will also put those links in the feed so that you can grab those links as well. So Jamie, if you put the VIP program page and the a la carte page in the feed as well. My student who was going to come off a mute for your essay, where is that student? Are they still here? Remember I said
Tyler Holmes is here.
because remember I said the first person be ready, because if the second person is here and ready, then they're gonna go first. So Jamie, what was the names? It was Carter and then Holmes. So did Carter jump off?
Tyler Holmes is here.
No, we are still here. My daughter, I'm so sorry. We just came from urgent care and she went upstairs to the restroom. So she's coming back down. She's
Okay.
has a sprained ankle from a soccer game. So
Oh,
she is on her way back down.
Okay.
Yep. So
So we're gonna
at
wait
that first-
for her. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Tell her to come on back. Tell her she lucky you
let me
spoke
go-
up
let me
because
go-
Miss Holmes wasn't playing. She was ready.
She
I was
said, "I'm
not
here."
playing.
Miss Holmes was not
Okay.
playing. Miss
We're
Carter, you was
coming
about
back.
to
I'ma come
forfeit
to her,
that because
actually.
Miss Holmes said, I am here.
But Tyler is sitting here.
Someone said, what's the deadline that you'd like to receive an email tonight? As long as it's before I wake up tomorrow and it's in my email, you're perfectly fine. So if you're a family who want a spot, just send us the email. And then tomorrow when I get up, you'll get an email from me with the codes and the proper sign up key codes for you to be able to enroll your child. And we will be getting started right away.
Okay.
Mom, just speak up whenever she comes into the room, okay?
Go ahead.
Hi,
Hi,
my
how are
name is-
you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. So quick thing, tell me what it is that you want to write your essay on. What are you thinking about writing your essay on?
So I'm already in the midst of writing my essay right now. It's just not finished yet,
Okay,
but basically it's about like a struggle I had and me overcoming it. And so the title, I'm a soccer player. So the title of my essay is I never got the ball even though I knew I could score. And it's about me being like always like the only Black girl on my team in soccer and how I never really got the opportunities to score because they only pass people who normally look like them. And then I also talk about how not just on the soccer field, but that's like even an aspect in real life about how sometimes I go to a PWI private school and how sometimes opportunities are only given to the students that look like the people who are giving these opportunities and not to like the Black girls in the classroom.
okay. So couple of key things. You want to make sure you don't make this a race thing, right? And then you want to also make sure that you don't make this a soccer thing, but that it's more so about you and what lessons, what did that teach you? How did that inspire you? How did that motivate you? How did that turn you around as a student, as a young woman, right? So don't focus on the fact that, so here's what I want you to make sure you're not doing it so much about the ball, about the game, but how can you turn that into the analogy of your life? So that they're not saying, okay, this is just another student who want to tell us they were good in soccer, but just tried to tweak it a little bit, right? Or another student who you want to be careful about the race thing so that it doesn't become an essay where you're just trying to point out about race. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Now, do you by any chance have the intro that you can read to us?
Let me see if I can pull it up right now. Give me one moment. I'm sorry.
No. And Miss Holmes, because you were a good sport, you have a son or daughter, Miss Holmes?
The daughter named Tyler.
Okay, so have Tyler be ready because she's gonna be next.
Thank you.
And although this is for the Carter family and the Holmes family, this is going to benefit each and every one of you. So you can drop off if you want, because we are done with the masterclass. But if you want, and you have a student who is also struggling with their essay and have no clue, this helps every student, not just the students who got to be in the hot seat. This literally will help you to be able to see whether you've gone in the wrong direction on your own essay by just hearing the feedback that they're going to get against their essay.
Okay, I have my essay ready.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I never got the ball even though I knew I could score. I was playing striker this game. The whistle blew from the referee to start the game. I passed the ball to the midfielder. The midfielder passed the ball to the winger. The winger dribbled down the sideline of the field, close to goal. I was right there, running down the field. All my teammate had to do was cross me in the ball. Like what my coach told me, I called for the ball. Matter of fact, I screamed for the ball, excited to get the opportunity to score. During our first game, I did not touch the ball the whole game. After the game, I came to my coach crying, wondering why my teammates didn't pass me the ball, even though I scored the most during practices. He explained to me I needed to call for the ball even more. My teammate looks up at me after I said, cross me in the ball, then passes my other teammate the ball, who's farther from the goal and misses. This is when I knew I was not going to get the ball, even though I knew I could score. If my teammate would have passed me the ball, I knew for a fact I would have scored. There was no one in my way. It was just me and the goalie, and she looked past me and played the ball to someone who looked like her. When playing in my neighborhood league, I didn't have to worry about receiving the ball. All I had to do was just play my game, and I got better because of it. I joined the top club team in the tri-state area, which made me ecstatic to show off my skills at a bigger stage. I was the only black girl on my team, which I thought wasn't a big deal. I've always known I had great potential. My family knew I had great potential, but how can the world see my capabilities if I'm looked over and not given the opportunity? I'm going to add a little bit more about how then this motivated me to start my own nonprofit organization that is catered to youth, mainly in the urban area, and teaching them the game of soccer. So I can talk about how like I felt a sense of not belonging, and now I created a company that creates a sense of belonging for others who look like me.
Okay, so you got tough skin, right, sweetie?
Yes.
Okay, so Miss Robinson means well when I give you all of this feedback, okay? So your
Yeah.
essay is all about soccer, a game, blah, blah, blah. It's not cutting it. It's good, but it's not good. So here's why. If you can take all of that and turn that into a story about you, and you said, give me the first two sentences again, just the first two.
I never got the ball, even though I score. I was playing soccer this game. The whistle blew from the referee to start the game.
Okay, so you see how you're already staging it like it's the soccer game. Everything is about the soccer game, right? You
Yeah.
can start off maybe something about, you could talk about a ball, but not make it about soccer. So what I'm trying to get you to see is to remove the soccer thing, or remove the focus of soccer, 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 game, 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 coach, referee, players, teammates, blah, 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 right? And then focus
Yeah.
more on how sometimes life doesn't always deal us fair hands, right? Like everything isn't always going to go the way we think it should go. But that's not going to stop you from continuously trying to still become greater. You see how I'm saying this without talking about it being
Yeah.
soccer, right? So you
Yeah.
have to reform this essay to get that soccer out there. You just got to meet the wrong direction and written the wrong way, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So you have substance
Yeah.
there. You have to take the substance out of soccer focus and put the substance on lessons, life learnings, and different things on you, right? Because midway through coming in, saying how you turned this into a path, what was meant to destroy you actually built you. See how I'm going to say that? What meant to destroy you actually
Yeah.
built you, because you've gone on to now create a nonprofit, create whatever the name of the nonprofit is that gives back to other students who look like you, feel like you, and believe like you. Then we ain't talking about soccer, right?
Oh, that is
But we talking about life lessons,
Yes.
right? And we talking about how this has
Yeah.
molded you. So now what I've learned, I can now pour back into someone else, this young girl who desires to hold the ball in her hand one day. Well, not in her hand, to kick the ball with her foot one day, and not just down the field, but into the next phase of her life. See, it ain't about going down the field to the goalie. It's about her understanding that she can still kick the ball in life, because life is going to deal her those same mishaps, right? Everybody is going to life is going to deal. Racism is all throughout life, or being not getting fair chances is all throughout life. It's how you handle that gives you that foundation, that gives you that, that backbone. So that's how you're going to have to flip this essay around, because right now you're too focused on soccer, 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 coach, 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 and you're pointing, right? You're pointing the finger and you're blaming. And so you want to own responsibility of what this taught you. What did you learn from this? What lessons, what life learned lessons did you get from this? So that's how you want to spend this. Mom, you need to be getting her in that a la carte essay revise sessions for the 5 hours, because she already kind of got it written, or the 10 hours, whichever one she thinks she would need. And that's going to help her. And we can turn her essay around to give it to what she needs, because right now it's too soccer focused and it's not a story of what she's gaining and what she's learning. She got substance, but the substance needs to be redirected.
Thank you so much. That
Thank
was
you.
awesome.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. All right, Holmes family,
Definitely
you
appreciate
ready?
that.
Oh, you're welcome. Holmes family, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, so tell me what your essay is about. And have you already started writing? I'm sorry.
I have started writing my essay already, and my topic is about an idea or concept you find so engaging that it makes you lose all track of time. Why does it captivate you? What or who do you turn to when you want to learn more?
And so is yours an idea or a concept? Which one?
A topic?
I'm sorry. Oh, it's a topic?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yours was the topic. You chose topic, not idea or concept. You chose, okay, so what's the topic?
Forensics?
Like forensic science, the major, or?
Yes.
Okay. So do you have yours up to already, like the young lady previously, which you started writing?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
I would guess that most 17-year-old girls like to watch TV shows or movies about teen romance or comedy. Not me. I love to watch TV shows about true crime and murder mysteries. Instead of the show How to Get Away with Murder, starring the amazing actress Viola Davis, I have often wondered what a TV show called How Not to Get Away with Murder would look like. There is so much crime occurring in the world today that I'm always curious about what new things the police and detectives out in the world are doing to catch the criminals and to solve cases. Whether it's fingerprint analysis, DNA, blood splatter, toxology, or hair samples, there is usually a clue or a piece of evidence that leads investigators to the culprit or close to them, and ends up helping to crack the case. Sometimes there is not. All of it fascinates me, and I fantasize about being Viola Davis by teaching my students how to solve a case instead of how to get away with it.
Okay. So again, meat, misdirected meat. Does that make sense? And so yours need to be more like, can you imagine arriving on a crime scene where can you imagine arriving and all you see is blood, bullets, bodies, something, something, right? You're describing a crime scene, right? And even in the beginning, when you started talking about most 17-year-old girls, you could have started off saying, while others are watching this, this, or this, I'm different. I turn on the TV and I'm mesmerized by blood, bullets, da da da. You could be graphic, right? Because now they're trying to say, oh my gosh, I wonder what she's thinking about. I bet you thought that I was thinking about murder. No, I was actually thinking about the life of a forensic scientist. How intriguing that could be when they go into these crime scenes and they discover X, Y, and Z. you know what I mean? So you see how you're placing yourself almost like you're walking in a crime scene? And then you
Yes.
can bring in the Viola Davis movie, right? My passion even sparked more when I watched Viola Davis play the role of Blink Blink in the Blink movie, show, right? Each time, whatever mesmerized you about her in that show, you bring that into the story, and you say how that adds to, and then you say what you're going to be able to do with this forensic science degree. How are you, or what are you intrigued about gaining from this in this degree also? So that's a part of one of your body paragraphs as well. Where do you plan on doing this, and why do you plan on doing this, and what do you want to get out of it? So right now, again, you're another one. You have meat. Your meat is just misguided
Okay.
when it comes to building out the story, right? When it comes to framing it. So remember, it's kind of like a story from beginning to end. You don't want me to tune out at the beginning. You want me to be so intrigued. I want to go all the way to the end so I can find out what is it that this young lady really has to say, or, you know what I mean, who she really became as opposed to this, or who she can become once she comes here and becomes a forensic science major. How can we impartation to her? Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. So mom, another one, mom, Holmes mom, she has the meat, she has it there, but it needs to be re-guided. She's another one where you can drop her in our a la carte services for our essay editing, where we can help her frame the story and get it to finish.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Because I know, like, she took a forensics class last year, and she also went to a forensics camp over the summer.
And she doesn't talk about that yet. At least I didn't hear her say anything about that. So when she
Yeah.
talks about why that one paragraph could probably be her third paragraph, she doesn't have that
Okay.
in there, which would be
Okay.
something I would have definitely made sure she had in there, because what she learned and in those courses and how she set in on those sessions is all going to make a difference.
Okay. She just has like 3 paragraphs and just focused in on an intro paragraph, then a middle, then kind of an end. But I'm not, they're
She
just
still
not.
needs her 5. Yep.
Yeah.
So you still
Yep.
need your
Yeah.
intro.
Yeah.
And your intro needs some work, but you still need your intro. You have it, but it needs work on how you bridge in, right? Because remember, I said start with fireworks, end with a bang. So your
Okay.
intro, then you have your 1, your 2, and your 3, which is your meat. And that's for everybody. You have the meat in the middle. But the meat makes a difference because the meat is the building blocks of the story. And then you want to close it out in your conclusion where you're banging. And that's kind of saying what it is that you have gained and how you've grown and where you're going. And so students often miss out on that part.
Okay. Wonderful. Thank you.
Oh, you guys are so welcome. So, all right. So to everyone who stuck around, I hope that was some pointers for you as well. To all my families who stayed and hung out, I always tell you at the very end, you just never know what golden gems are at the very end. If you're willing to stick around to the end. And so I promised that we would hopefully be able to have time, and I was willing to go over time so we can make sure that the students get their opportunity to get some feedback, because I knew the feedback would not only help them, but it would also help everyone else. So again, we would love to welcome any of you into our VIP College Bound program, or if you're just interested and need a la carte services, take a picture of this screen that's still up here, and you can look at these services and decide which ones you need. If you're not sure where you need to fit in, book a discovery call. And remember, the scholarship of the $1,000 is tonight. You have to email and say you want that in order for us to send you the special link to get that. After tomorrow, it goes back to what you saw on the screen. So again, thank you so much for tuning in. If you didn't get a chance to do the survey, please take time, complete the survey. We love to hear feedback from you. We hope that you got new information. If you got some good information, some good tips, some good strategies, drop some love emojis in the chat before you jump off. And we appreciate you. I thank you for those of you who are new to us. We hope you will return again for any of our future master classes. And we look forward to working with each and every one of you in some form, some way, some capacity. And so again, until we meet again, continue being amazing. Could students keep working hard, keep flourishing, keep doing what you need to do until you get to the finish line. Have an amazing evening. How would you like, oh, someone said, hi, would like the $1,000 rate. Okay, so Val, you'll have to just, Miss Dunmeyer, Val Dunmeyer, you'll have to just email me. Let me drop my email. I'm gonna send the email directly to you since you directly chatted me. Let me just send you the email because then my assistant won't see it. So if you can just email me, then we will make sure you get that link. And so I'm going to take your name also because we can find your name on our registration. But yes, so just make sure you send me the email. I dropped my email. We'll drop it one more time in the regular chat as well so that you can grab hold of it. So that's our email. If you want in and you want a spot in our VIP program, just drop us an email so we can get you the special scholarship discount code. Okay. And then again, you can take a picture of this screen and it will take you to all of our different programs for you to review it. And if you have questions, click the link for book a discovery call, jump on a call with me this week, and we can figure out where you need to be placed in whatever program that we have, if you're not sure after tonight of where you need to be placed. And again, thank you so much for tuning in, for jumping in. I hope this was informative. I hope you gained lots of information that you can use to make sure you successfully win the game of college admissions. Have an amazing evening.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Oh,
you.
you're welcome.
Thank you.
Oh, you guys are welcome.